everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is the Demented Librarians YouTube channel. I am so happy to have you with me today. We are going to be doing a book review today on this novel called John Dies at the End. Now, this book I am reviewing in honor of my Shooting Star patrons. Every month over on my Patreon account, I post polls for my shooting stars and my moonbeams to vote on a video that they would like to see, and this month they chose a book review, or several. So that's what we're going to do today, and I would like to call out my patrons over there, my shooting stars. They are Jennifer, Curran, Rachel, Cheryl, Teresa, Flu, Passiflora, Phil, Vengeance, and Kagamimi. Thank you so much for your support. If you don't know what Patreon is, all the information will be down below in the description box, including links if you'd like to go check it out. So, today, as I said, we are going to be reviewing this book, John Dies at the End by David Wong. Now, this one was quite the interesting ride. It was part of a book haul that I did sometime last year. They all kind of run together because all book hauls in my head are just, kind of a vast sea of awesomeness where I get to talk about all kinds of books at the same time. So today I'd like to take a look at this one a little closer. I have read it. I have some notes on it. I can tell you how many top hats the Demented tour guide gives it. That's me. We don't usually talk about ourselves in third person, but today, it's a special kind of day. It's a crazy hippo lady kind of day. Let's take a sip of our tea. That's good. Maybe not as good as Mariah Carey's, but good. Anyway, so let's just jump right in. Let's read the back of this real quick. Let's see. It says, "Stop. You should not have touched this book with your bare hands. No, don't put it down. It's too late. They're watching you. My name is David Wong. My best friend is John. These names are fake. You might want to change yours. You may not want to know about the things you'll read on these pages, about the sauce and about Koruk, about the invasion and the future, but it's too late. You touched the book. You're in the game. You're under the eye. The only defense is knowledge. You need to read this book to the end, even the part with the bratwurst. Why? You just have to trust me. The important thing is this. The drug is called soy sauce, and it gives users a window into another dimension. John and I never had the chance to say no. You still do. Unfortunately for us, it might, if you make the right choice, we'll have a much harder time explaining how to fight off the otherworldly invasion currently threatening to enslave humanity. I'm sorry you have to be involved in all this, I really am, but as you read about these terrible events and the very dark epic the world is about to enter as a result, it is critical that you keep one thing in mind. None of this is my fault." I mean, how can you not want to read a book with a cover like that? Really? So it says here also about the author, David Wong. It's the pseudonym of Jason Pargin, who is an online humorist, a National Lampoon contributor, and the senior editor of Cracked.com. Now, that last little tidbit, if you're familiar at all with Cracked.com, should kind of give you a clue about the tone of the book. I actually, before I read this book, many years ago actually, I think, let's see when this book came out. Okay, so 2009. So several years ago now, they made a movie out of it. And I remember watching the movie. Now, I have to confess, I don't remember a lot about the movie. Like, I read the book and I was like, oh yeah, okay, I remember them going through this. But the impression that I do remember taking away from the movie is that it was not what I expected. It was much better than I hoped. And that it was just this wild ride through somebody's headspace that I was very happy to visit and glad I didn't live there. So, I mean, and on that note, this book is, it is nonsensical. It is a rather convoluted, crazy, and intricate plot. The characters really take you through it. These characters feel like guys that you know. You've met them. You've seen them at parties, usually in the corners, lurking. Or maybe they're the guys who are standing around watching everybody else and you secretly may wonder if they're spies or the police or undercover. Or they're the guys who are in the band who just seem to have some sort of connection to a different dimension or really, really good drugs. That's the main characters of these books. They're very funny, entertaining, whimsical in a dark way, kind of, guys. And so the plot line is it's a little tough to follow. I'm not even going to attempt to explain it. You just have to kind of pick from what you heard on the back and kind of surmise, if you will, what it's about. But there's two guys, they're on a journey. There's a drug called soy sauce. They inadvertently discover it. All kinds of hijinks ensue. They uncover a plot to dominate the world, which may or may not have happened or be true. Anyway, it's kind of utterly incomprehensible, but in a good way. There's an excellent handle, of course, on humor, because again, this guy, he wrote for crack.com and for other things. So, I mean, it's hilarious. There are a few points where you're actually laughing out loud. And there's also more than one point where you're wondering what you should be feeling, because there's so much you're conflicted. Am I horrified? Am I amused? Am I both? Am I horror amused? Perhaps I am. And I have to say that whereas the movie I don't remember being terribly suspenseful or scary, but having a couple of good twists and turns, the book actually freaked me out a few times, because it's very much based on psychological horror. It's that kind of concept of, the scariest thing to me is like if you're sitting across from someone and you think you kind of know them, and then they drop some sort of bomb on you that makes you think that you don't know them. But not in that kind of, oh, I thought they were this kind of person or that kind of person, but actually in a, by the way, I'm an alien kind of logic or reasoning, or a psychic, or from the future, or something else that is just a little bit completely out of your realm of experience. And then they have proof, and then they tell you that they don't look like what you think they look like. It's just this kind of psychological mind game that what you think is real is not real. These are not the droids you were looking for. Wax on, wax off. So I have to say that the book actually got me a couple of times. There were moments where I'm like, I'm kind of glad I'm reading this in daylight. There were a couple of other times that I wasn't reading it in daylight that I really wish I had been. But it was a very good read. This is, I think, the beginning of a series. I think there's 3 total now. I have not read the other 2. I would be very interested in reading them. So that should tell you enough right there that not only did I enjoy this wild and crazy ride, I would like to go on the roller coaster at least 2 more times. So highly recommend this. 4.5 top hats, just for that half a top hat right there, that maybe the brim, shall we say, is because there were moments when I had to kind of pause, shake my head, and try to figure out what in the hell had just happened in the plot, because I've been reading it word for word and I was still a little lost. So, but that is an atmospheric sort of thing, and it's a very effective tool. So obviously the writing and the characters and the plot and all of the other mechanisms that have gone into this are successful in making you think that you've lost your mind. So 4.5 top hats, highly recommend, would do it again, and you should definitely check out John Dies at the End.